Hello there.
Hello there, and welcome back to the Sky Guys podcast. We are continuing our journey through the Family Guy Star Wars trilogy today as we look at their parody of The Empire Strikes Back, entitled Something Something Dark Side. I'm your host, Mike Phillips. With me, as always, the man whose voice your narration every single week. Pete Consadori is here. Pete, how are you?
Hello there. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm excited to talk a little bit more Star Wars Family Guy. Loved this episode and excited to talk about it.
Yep. Also with us today, our pilot who's so confident he can take on the entire Empire by himself. Nick Fraietta is here. Nick, how are you?
Doing great. Um, this was my idea to discuss these three episodes. We now have one left after today, and I'm excited to talk about this middle one with you guys today.
Absolutely. Definitely a lot of fun here. And Pete, people want to subscribe to the Sky Guys. They can do so Apple Podcasts, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, Amazon, all usual suspects. Simply search for the Sky Guys here podcast platforms, five episodes there. And we are getting our way through this little mini series here with the Family Guys stuff. And we have a fun close to the year coming here. Pete has his own idea we're going to talk about in 2 weeks that we're going to do, and some fun stuff, including The Force Awakens is coming back up. We got to get ready to revisit that 10 years down the line.
Yeah, make sure you're subscribed. A lot of stuff coming down the pipeline, as Mike said. And if you're not subscribed, you may miss out.
And Mando 2 in January. Don't forget that. We're going to do the episodic rewatch for that.
Can't wait for that.
And Nick, people want to follow us on social media. How can I do that?
Follow at Sky Guys Podcast all over social media and at skyguyspod@gmail.com if you'd like to email the pod with any recommendations or anything like that.
Yep. We're also got our social media comment of the week. This is actually from Twitter for the first time in a while. Our discussion a few weeks about the Hunt for Ben Solo actually got quote tweeted by the official Hunt for Ben Solo fan account trying to generate the movie. And they got a discussion about whether Ray or the Kylo movies come first. And the Hunt for Ben Solo says you can't have Ray without Ben. Hashtag the Hunt for Ben Solo. So they disagree with your take, Nick.
What was my take?
That like they were not going to do the Ben Solo movie because Ray was more marketable.
Oh, I disagree with them. I
Yeah.
saw they had a little get together at the Lucasfilms headquarters in New York City, and seven people showed up. So I think it's time for this thing to be put to bed.
Yeah, Nick
This
is.
thing, this thing's over.
Yeah, I will also say, Pete, as much as I love people doing this, you're not changing Disney's mind with a banner playing 6,000 signatures on a protest.
Yeah, no, you're not. I mean, it's wishful thinking, but I mean, you can't fault them for trying.
You need a lot more than 6,000 signatures. You're going to do that. Like the one I remember vividly working was like
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Did they say you can't have Ray without Ben? They're making a Ray movie.
yeah, yeah, that's their point. Is like they're trying to spin it to be Ben Solo. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, this is crazy at this point.
Well, I mean, technically, Ray would have been dead without Ben. So I guess in that sense, they're correct.
Oh yeah, of course. But then Ray would have been dead without Luke, without Leia, without Han, without everyone.
I mean, Ray physically died, and then Ben like
True, true,
transferred,
true, true.
gave her his life force. So at that point, they're correct.
Yeah,
I will also say here, the one example here is Nick. Do you remember back like the mid 2000s, a show on CBS called Jericho?
I know it by name, but that's it. I never saw it or anything.
Yeah, so this show back in the day was canceled after season one on CBS, and this is a viral marketing thing that happened here. Like one of the characters in the finale says like nuts or something like that. So like they sent, I think fans sent like I think like 2,000 pounds of nuts to CBS to ask for another season. They got another season made. So you need something like that dramatic to get them to make this movie.
So you're telling me there was a first season and then a second season came a couple years or a year or
No,
two later?
they reversed their cancellation. They did a short second season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like you need something to that scale to like get the big wigs to know it's not 6,000 signatures, seven people in Times Square.
Yes, not enough. Maybe 7,000 people and 600,000 signatures would have done it.
Yeah, I think you need to be at least in the six figures on signatures before they take you seriously.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to some Star Wars news here. A lot of catch up here to go on, so I'm just gonna kind of try and speed through this. Is that cool with you, Nick?
Yeah, for the audience, if you are wondering, if you're a longtime listener, I am under the weather, so Mike's gonna take the uh, the the news today.
Yeah, we are conserving Nick's voice for the important part of the podcast.
Yeah.
All right, so a couple things to start here. Vision's executive producer James Waugh wants to see more sequels to The Duel and The Village Bride after Visions Volume 3. So, Pete, more sequels.
More sequels. I
More
mean, we always want Star Wars content, right? So can't not be excited, I guess, for it.
Yeah, well, I wasn't a big fan of them doing sequels to episodes the first time, so maybe if we're not waiting 4 years for another Visions, I'd be more into that.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Next up, there's a rumor circulating online that the Rogue Squadron movie, famously was supposed to be directed by Patty Jenkins and is in development hell for years, is being reworked into a Disney Plus series. And Nick, there are not many Disney Plus live action properties in development we know of aside from Ahsoka season two. Do you want this?
Yeah, I would enjoy this. I'm excited for this if this were to happen. I don't think this would do well as a movie, and that's one of the reasons it got shelved. But as a show, maybe this could be something interesting. I would like to see it. Besides the fact that you just said there aren't a lot of live action things in development show-wise, and selfishly, I want something to talk about.
Yeah, and Pete, I believe the concept of this was believed to be Top Gun in space was the elevator pitch on this one. So I think if you did this as a show, I'd definitely be interested.
I'd be interested as well. Um, always like seeing good like dog fighting in space. So, yeah, I mean, I'd be interested as well.
All right. Next up here, Ryan Johnson. And Nick, this is very old news, but officially official from Ryan Johnson. He confirmed his Star Wars trilogy is not in active development, but he would be thrilled to come back to Star Wars universe down the line if it made sense.
I mean, that's yeah, sure.
All right.
Yeah,
Next up,
like, well, I'm sure. Okay, that
yeah,
doesn't tell us anything, but okay.
yeah. And it's funny because Pete, remember back in the day, there was like actually a visual post, like a big post on the website before Last Jedi. Oh, we have a new deal with Ryan Johnson for the trilogy that it's going to explore unknown parts of the Star Wars universe. And then
Does he get interviewed once a week where he just says, "I want to do
yes,
Star
yes,
Wars"?
he has a movie coming out. That's why people are talking to him. He's doing the
What is
press
the movie?
circuit.
What is the movie coming out?
He's doing the press circuit for the third Benoit Blanc movie.
Okay,
Wake Up,
okay.
Dead Man.
Still need to watch Knives Out.
Yeah, you need to. It's definitely worth it. Next up here, Oscar Isaacs. He's coming open to coming back to Star Wars, but is not so open to working with Disney at this time, telling GQ, quote, they can kind of figure it out and, not succumb to fascism. That would be great. So clearly not a fan of the Jimmy Kimmel's fiasco that Disney went through a few months ago. So put a pin in that. We'll go to the next one here. Sean Levy describes Star Wars Starfighter as a new adventure, not tied to any previous material, saying to Collider, quote, it's new characters, it's a new timeline, it inherits legacy themes, but it's really trying to give Star Wars fans and just movie audiences something fresh, something new, with a spirit of play and big-hearted adventure with moments of real levity that, frankly, A New Hope had in a revolutionary way. And Pete, this sounds wonderful. I don't think you get any casual fans into this until you see a trailer.
Yeah, I agree. It sounds great, but like you said, casual fans are not gonna be tracking this until a trailer comes out.
Sounds awesome to me. I'm actually really excited for this movie now.
Yeah, I'm excited for this movie as well. I like the idea we're doing something original. It works out well for Skeleton Crew, but at the same time, Nick, you mentioned many times your father's a casual Star Wars fan. Like, I'm sure he has no idea this movie exists.
No, no. I mean, at this point, he doesn't even know that Mandalorian exists. But that's not the point.
Yeah,
Point is like you're completely right. The casual Star Wars fan is not going to know, and if you really want to sell, this may not be the best idea. But for fans like us, I really cannot wait. I think this sounds awesome. Now, when he says a new timeline, it's still the same timeline, just a new area of the timeline, right?
correct. After the Rise of Skywalker, the sequel
Yeah.
trilogy, years past that.
Okay, so it's a part of the timeline yet to be explored, not necessarily a new timeline.
Well, I mean, new from the Skywalker saga, sure.
Right, but it's the same chain of
Yeah,
events. It's the
yeah.
same continuity.
This is not like going like world between worlds, going to a different
Yes,
timeline.
yes. But I really can't wait. Very excited.
I believe he also said that Matt Smith, who's playing the villain in Starfighter, feels that it is, quote, destiny fulfilled. He gets to be in this Star Wars movie after being dropped from the Rise of Skywalker. So, Pete, I'm happy for Matt Smith because I know, like, I love that somebody who really wants to be here is here.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in past shows we've heard a lot of I've never heard of Star Wars before, but we're making one. So for someone who wants to be here and is excited for a project, I'm also excited for it as well.
All right. Next up in the news, John Watts, the showrunner of Skeleton Crew, has said that he would love to make another season of the show and believes they left things at place that could pick up the story in a number of interesting ways. And we were all Skeleton Crew supporters on the podcast here, Nick. Like, I would love a season two, but I think the fact we haven't heard about this by now when it came out at the beginning of the year makes me think they're not in a hurry to do another one.
I don't think they are in a hurry to do another one, and I think it's completely fine if they don't. I would like to see more just because I liked the show and I thought it was interesting, and it kind of hit the same thing I'm looking for out of the Levy movie, that it was kind of entirely on its own. It did share a little bit with that Mandoverse, but not really much at all. Um, but I would like to see more, but at the same time, if they were to leave it, I'm okay with it. I think it told a full story.
Yeah, P, I think this is more of a situation where I feel like the ratings probably were not that great. It's probably why we're not getting another one. But like, I would love if they continue this storyline somewhere else in the Mandoverse, or it's like in a Mando movie, whether it's Ahsoka. I wouldn't mind seeing some of these characters pop up again.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. I think seeing it pop up again would be good.
All right. Next up on the list here, Lucasfilm is reportedly going to be more directly involved with the production of The Ninth Jedi, the limited series being spun off from Star Wars Vision. So previously, these shorts that kind of stayed hands off and let the anime studios do their thing. But in the limited series, Pete, now Lucasfilm is saying we're going to be more directly supervising this. Your thoughts?
Thank God. I just, I mean, we're going to talk about this in a couple weeks. I just feel like we need some sort of structure again from the source material.
Yeah.
And the source material is George Lucas and Lucas Arts and Lucas Films. And so I think that this is the right thing to do in the sense of an objective, opinion about it. I think it's the right thing to do for Star Wars. Get back to the people that made Star Wars. So I think this is going to help them tremendously.
All right.
Imagine a world where George sold Star Wars to Disney, but in that contract he specified that I'm now the Kevin Feige of this world, where you can make the movie, you direct it, you can do all the writing, but you gotta like run it by me and let me in charge of like the overall arching story and stuff. The way they do that with Marvel, like that would just be beautiful, wouldn't it?
Well, George, I think, clearly had no interest in being in that role.
Oh, I know. George Lucas lost interest in Star Wars in 1978.
Yeah,
He
George.
just had to keep making them because they were selling.
Yeah, we can talk about that in a few minutes with the because they definitely have alluded to some of this with the with the Family Guy episode. The last thing here, John Boyega had an interview today that if he ever does another Star Wars movie, he will only do it in a storyline that's a good movie where Finn is having an adventure with Poe, Oscar Isaac, and Chewbacca. And considering Oscar Isaac's stance on things, I don't think we're seeing that movie anytime soon.
Doesn't sound like it.
Now, that
Sound
would be
like it.
that would be fun, but I don't think we're
Yeah,
gonna.
it'd be another fun one. I really would be.
Notable, he's not include Daisy Ridley in that conversation, in that pitch.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think he has anything against Daisy Ridley. I think they're actually pretty close friends, but
I just think he
um,
felt like that there's not much his character can do with Ray at this point.
yeah, I agree. Exactly.
I also think that Ray is getting screen time, right? Like I think he's trying to advocate for the other characters too.
Yeah. All right, so that's it for the news this week. So let's go on to something Dark Side. The Empire Strikes Back parody of Family Guy came out 2 years after the first one, which was the Blue Harvest. That came out back in 2000. Nick, that was 2006, right? The first one came out.
Yeah, the first one was the season. No, it wasn't seven. It was the season six premiere.
Yeah.
This is the season eight finale.
It's one of I think it's close. Yeah, because season 8, episode 20. It comes out May 23rd, 2010. So 3 years after the
Yeah,
original comes
this
out.
is the season eight finale. There's another one that's technically the season eight finale, but it's been removed from all streaming services because it had to do with abortion.
Yeah, it was pulled. So this is the last actual
Yeah,
episode of the season.
Which is interesting because well not the other season finale, but if you go to Hulu, it's the first episode that pops up. It
they
says I
do it in
think
reverse
season.
order.
Oh, yeah, I missed that then.
Hulu goes in reverse order.
Which is weird because some shows
Which
it
is why
doesn't go in reverse
Hulu.
order.
I deleted Hulu. I can't stand it. I do it. I access it through Disney Plus.
Well, Disney Plus was down for me today. I couldn't even access
Oh,
Disney Plus.
disaster.
Disaster.
And for reference, the next one that we will cover is the Return of the Jedi one. That's the season 9 finale. But let's continue with season 8 finale here. Something dark side.
Yeah, something dark side here. Of note, some interesting production stuff here with this one. We have some new voices in the mix here. We have James Woods in this one after he becomes a big character in the Family Guy universe. We do have a live action shot of Tom Selleck in this episode, which is hilarious for a cutaway towards the end of the movie, end of the episode here. A couple of the other characters brought in here, like John Benjamin portrays Carl. Who is Carl? Normally he's going to be Yoda in this thing. We have some new characters playing here, a bunch of interesting stuff. And this episode was written before the writer's strike, just a curiosity. 2007, 2008 writer's strike here. And it contained and interesting stuff here in terms of what's going on here. So, Pete, general thoughts on this one, which I think we said last week. We did not remember this one as much as we did Blue Harvest.
I mean, I don't think I watched this one. This is the first time I was watching it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it might be a little bit less funny than Blue Harvest. I feel like maybe I don't know. I was still laughing. Like I still enjoyed the hell out of this, but I feel like Blue Harvest maybe is a little bit funnier to me. But still very good overall. First time seeing it, so can't complain.
Nick, what would you think when going back to this episode?
I didn't like it. Um, I
Like,
don't know, maybe because I just like seen it a couple times and like I just like didn't I don't know, maybe I just like knew everything that was coming and I just didn't find it funny in that sense. Like you know what's coming, it's not really as funny, obviously. That could be why. And I think what stands out about the first one compared to this one is that whole like the reveal of who's playing who. Like when you first see Han and Chewie in the cantina and it's Peter and Brian, it's oh, look what they did. And in this one, you kind of know everyone outside of a few characters like Boba Fett. They make a big deal out of that, like, oh, the chicken's Boba Fett. But like other than that, you know who everybody is. And I feel like that was half of the comedy in that was who was playing who.
yeah, I feel like for me, like I definitely had less fun with this one than I did the first one. I think the first one, like there's so many memorable moments here. Like I'm rewatching it. The only thing I remember was that like when the Millennium Falcon flies out of the space worm that makes a space worm and whines about it. That's the only thing I remember from this episode, like going back. The rest of it was like honestly very unmemorable, which is surprising considering like, I probably enjoyed it more in the real time.
Yeah, and like one of the jokes that they did was like the snow monster was Cookie Monster. It's like, okay, it's kind of funny, but like not really. Like I don't know. Like it's not really that funny. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to sound like I can
I
write
don't
a better comedy than Seth MacFarlane. Obviously, he's one of the best comedy writers ever, considering how long Family Guy's been on and whatnot. But I didn't really. I don't know. I wasn't really laughing in this one.
It only really got me to laugh out loud twice. I'll say that much.
Where was that?
But it only really made me laugh out loud twice.
No, when? At what times did you laugh?
We'll cover that in a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
So I have stuff I'll bring up here. So in terms of stuff from this episode here, you Nick, I know you want to talk about the casting like in these. So like our new cast members here, basically, we have Carl is the comic book guy, comic store guy is Yoda.
Yep.
We have Carter Pierce is recast as the Emperor after being Uncle Owen in the first one. Ernie the Giant Chicken is Boba Fett. We have the evil monkey from his closet is just makes a cameo appearance inside the monster. We have Mort Goldman as Lando. So, what do you think about the new casting choices?
I think they all work. Like Lando probably should have been Cleveland,
Oh,
but it couldn't be because he was R2, so you had to make it Mort saved. Fine, it works. Um,
I think if this special is made like 3 years later, you have another character you could use.
yeah. Also, was Joe not in it?
Now, Joe was the probe droid at the beginning.
Oh yeah, yeah. They could have used him a little bit more, maybe, but that's it's fine. Carl, I mean, the big casting choice is Carl as Yoda,
Yeah,
and he's a big side character. And what I mean by big side character is small, really. Like he's really barely in Family Guy. He's only in a few episodes up to this point, but it made perfect sense to have him be the guy to teach Chris, Luke, based on how often they're like bonding in Family Guy about their interests and whatnot. So it did make a lot of sense. And the guy who does his voice, I forget what's his name, John Benjamin.
yeah.
He's the one from Bob's Burgers. And I feel like he got big from Family Guy. I don't know. I didn't really know him until Family Guy, and then Bob's
Archer.
Burgers came. Oh, was Archer before Family Guy?
I think so. I think it's
I
after.
Probably the same
don't
time.
think so,
Probably the same time.
actually.
Yeah, so like,
It's got to be the same time. But that's the big casting choice. The big one is Carl. Oh, Archer came out in '09, actually.
yeah.
But that's the big casting choice. It's Carl as Yoda, whether you like it or not. I think it. I'm not saying I love it, but I don't really see another direction they could have gone.
Yeah.
So I'm good with it.
Yeah, I think like Mort as Lando does not age well, I don't think, considering they have like other characters that they could have used if this came out a few years later.
Yeah.
That doesn't age well to me. Like, I think they recognized immediately if they wasted Carter Peter Schmidt as Uncle Owen, which is why he immediately gets put as the Emperor in the next one.
Well, I do know for a fact, because I've heard Seth MacFarlane say this, that it's the same thing as George Lucas. When they made the first one, they did not anticipate making more,
Yes.
which is the same thing as George Lucas was with the story of Star Wars to begin with. But so I do, got to cut them some slack there. Like in their mind, we got to throw Carter in here. What do we do with him? I don't know, just throw him there because the Emperor's not in A New Hope.
Yeah, he's not there.
Right. So it makes sense, and you got to cut them some slack in that sense.
Yep. And in terms of some other stuff here, Pete, what popped out for you from this?
I mean, not a whole lot. I know that the story of the episode 5. Um, I, there was just a couple one-liners that kind of hit for me. I think the thing that got me really laughing was the whole um training scene with Luke and
Um,
Chris.
the Rocky Four icon
Just
montage.
right, just going back and forth between that and the Rocky Four montage, I think was like the best part of the whole episode. But there was a couple of like not shock factor laughs, but there was a couple of times I just kind of chuckled and I enjoyed it. I wasn't really thinking much about the casting choices. I wasn't really thinking much about that. I liked the chicken as Boba Fett, and I liked how they kind of break the fourth wall, fifth wall, if you will, of Pierce saying, "Oh, the chicken guy's Boba Fett," like and that kind of stuff. So there's some good parts, one-liners that got me chuckling.
Nick, you have to look at this Rocky Four training montage because this is actually one of the funnier things in the episode. Is like when Luke goes to Yoda for Jedi training, and then they do the literally word like basically shot for shot recreation of the Rocky Four training montage, where they actually intercut the Drago side from the film alongside the animation of
Yep.
Chris doing all the Rocky moves and like replicating all that training here. I thought that played well.
I thought it played well too, and it makes perfect sense too, like in terms of the movie, like Drago having access to all that equipment, like the Empire would, and Luke being out in the swamp, how Rocky was just out in the cold, right?
Yeah,
Kind of fits perfectly. I do have a theory though on why this one, at least in my mind, was less funny.
yeah,
So my theory is just in terms of Star Wars, I think a lot more happens in Empire Strikes Back than happens in A New Hope.
yeah.
Or if you think about A New Hope as a story, it's the plans are in space, they go on the ground, the droids find Luke, they find Obi-Wan, they go to the Death Star, they go back, they blow it up. That's pretty much the whole story.
Yep.
Whereas in Empire, there's way more going on.
Yeah.
They're on Hoth, hyperspace goes out, they find Lando. That's just one side of it. Then there's a whole other side of the story with Luke. You see a lot of stuff from Vader's point of view in this movie that you didn't see as much in A New Hope. And I think there's a lot more to touch on, which is why they have less time to make ridiculous Family Guy jokes. Like they use like the couch, for example. And if you remember, like when Han got his reward, or should I say Peter got his reward for rescuing the princess, he had a little lightsaber knife and he's cutting it. There was no time for stuff like that because they really have a lot to touch on in this.
Yeah, I'll also add here in terms of the content here, like I thought they leaned more on some of their like recurring jokes at the time in the show, like when the eight when the at gets tripped up and it does the thing where Peter like pretends to, like just like winces from pain with his knee, does that. Yeah, the Consuela bit like with when she's on the holocall with Chewie like with Stewie, like there's a lot of stuff that like you had to watch the show at the time to get the joke. I feel like if you're just watching it at the as like an independent like viewer, like you're not gonna get it.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to say before we move on to the next section here is that the only thing I don't like about these three episodes is if I had to rank the Family Guy characters in terms of the family, like the Griffin family, I'm not like gonna do the whole thing, but Chris is probably like number four
Yeah.
behind Stewie and Brian and Peter and maybe even Lois at maybe put him at number five. Where because he's Luke, he's the main character, and the jokes need to be Chris jokes because like there's a certain humor with Chris, and you have a lot of Chris jokes because your Chris is on the screen, and it doesn't hit as well as like the Peter and Stewie jokes do.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of drags these down a little bit. But then we talked about this last time. We talked about A New Hope. They didn't really have a choice. Chris had to be Luke.
Yeah, 'cause you can't have Han do it. You can't have Peter do it because then like who is
And
gonna
then who's going to be Han?
yeah,
And you need that Han Leia connection of Peter and Lois. It makes perfect sense.
which is also why they cut out the reference to like the time when Luke and Leia kiss in Empire.
Yep.
Because otherwise that
Yep.
because that's why it's not in there because like it's very like it becomes like very like worse incest if you like look at it from the Family Guy perspective.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I'll also add here a couple of like let's go jokes real quick that landed for me. Peter, like I mean Pete, one of the things I love the most is Dax bravado. He takes on the Empire because they wanted to get around like Luke leaving him to die. So he's like, "I got this. Like I'm gonna take the whole down the Empire." And like, Chris is like, "Yeah, he's got this, guys. Dax is gonna take the whole Empire down." And he just flies up and he's gets himself blown up in 3 seconds. Like that got me laughing.
Yeah, it's those one-liners, like I said, that really got me too. Like it was like, oh, you got this? Fantastic. I didn't want to do this either. Another one-line example that really got me, I think, is when Lois is like, let's leave into space where there's infinite directions we can go, but let's just fly right into their fleet. And I was like those are the little jokes you can make in the short amount of time. Like Nick was saying, there's really a lot of that's in Empire Strikes Back, so you can't do these longer scenes on stuff like the couch, but it's those little things like that that you're like, yeah, like why would they do it? Or like Brian saying, Lando, why are you wearing Han's clothes? And he's like, literally go watch the movie. He's wearing Han Solo's
It's
clothes.
actually true. It's actually true.
And it's just
I've thought of that, and when I've rewatched Empire Strikes Back, and he's wearing Han's clothes. I
so
don't understand why.
it's like funny stuff like that I think made the episode good for me. And I think that, it's the one-liners, right? It's those little things that were really funny.
Yeah, the one-liners definitely worked in this episode. I did like also at the end of the training sequence on Dagobah, like when Yoda goes to Luke, it's like, you can't take on Vader. You need a fully trained Jedi to do this. And Luke's like, why don't you do it? And he's like, you know what, you got this, Slucker. Go get him. Like that got me laughing also, because that's a great plot hole in the movie.
Yeah, two things that I liked. One is I really liked when that one stormtrooper was wearing his mesh shirt and he was going dancing, and Stewie said he hasn't gone dancing since he was on Alderaan. I liked that, and I also really liked when randomly, because I felt this way in the movie too, in Empire Strikes Back, especially when I was younger, when I didn't really understand what was going on there. Luke, or should I say Chris, just drops everything and goes, "What's in there?" randomly. He goes, "Oh, it's really confusing and it draws the movie dead."
Yeah.
Like I kind of felt that way as a kid. I was like, "What is that?" Never really fully understood it until I, became a Star Wars podcaster with you guys.
Yeah.
But like as a casual fan, you watch that. Like if I'm watching The Empire Strikes Back with someone who's never seen it, they're like, "What the hell was that?"
Yeah.
And you have to explain it to them. They're never going to understand it.
Yeah, they definitely won't.
So I like that they poke fun at that. That's my favorite part of these, is that they poke fun at the little plot holes in Star Wars. And it's funny that one of them from the first one was that plot hole was covered by Rogue One.
It is a good plot hole with that one. I also will add in terms of the opening crawl, which last week was funny. Like they pointed out, I did have fun pointing out how like Fox screwed up massively letting George keep the merchandising rights for the original Star Wars. So like they basically flushed tons of money down the drain. They had no faith in their product. And I love that and the bit with the anime elephant running across the screen. It's like, yeah, that was $58,000. Like that was like that's the kind of money that we could just throw away on things.
I think it actually was.
No, not even close. $58,000.
So how much is it? Like I was thinking, how much does that actually cost? Like $1,000, $500? Like
Maybe like 5,800 at the time, not 58,000.
still, I mean, I would take it.
Yeah.
Give me the money.
Yeah, I do love these references to like the meta of the Star Wars universe that they put out here. Like that one at the end when they watch the slow flyway of the Millennium Falcon, like at first, and like Chris is like, "This is how we're ending the movie." Like, and then they do the Back to the Future 2 joke. That was funny.
Yeah, no, it's I think that's where Family Guy really excels, right? And I feel like if you're a Family Guy fan, those are the things that you like the most, or that like those little quick jabs versus like building up a full scene of just comedy.
Yeah,
So I think that if you're not into that, or if it doesn't land for you, Family Guy kind of falls flat. And I feel like that's like half the episode sometimes when you watch it, a joke will fall flat because that little jab, you don't get the reference or whatever. But I think because we're Star Wars fans and we've watched the movies and we're like invested, like Nick says, Star Wars podcasters, these little jabs, these little jokes are like super funny to us when they do land. You know, the casual fan may not really necessarily get a lot of it, but yeah, the Back to the Future stuff was also funny because it just that, and also they did they referenced Star Trek a couple times in the show.
yeah, because
Um,
they had Leia say she wanted to kiss George Takei, then Peter, and then George Takei pops up. There's another one that ages very poorly, and then you had Darth Vader
And,
destroying Leonard Nimoy's mailbox.
yeah,
and he's in the show Family Guy a few times with that
Yep,
same line, I guess, the hello, the creepy hello.
yep. I think it's also fun that Nick, I forget who points it out, but somebody says like we have to wait 3 years to find out the what happens next in this.
Yep, yep.
I think it was
Which,
I think it was when Han gets frozen in carbonite. It's like let's wait 3 years, even though we know exactly where he is.
right. And I do think that is the most memorable line, now that I think about it, in this is when Leia tells Han she loves him and Han tells her to F off.
Yeah,
I think that is the most memorable part
yeah,
of this whole entire episode, honestly.
yeah,
It just kind of shows that, how he was so ungrateful in the movie to hear that she loved him.
yeah. I thought that was a funny landing line here. So I do love. I think actually it might have been Brian who said like when Han flies away, it's like we know exactly where he's going. We're just gonna wait 3 years to go find him.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's wrap it up here. Who is the MVP of this episode, Nick?
Stewie.
Yeah.
It's the same as The Empire Strikes Back. I don't know if we ever did that. Did we ever do MVPs and LVPs of the original 9 movies?
No.
I don't think we did, but if we'd had to, Vader's the MVP of Empire, as is Stewie the MVP of this, because
Oh,
he has a huge role in it and just does a lot.
well, that's Force Awakens next month. We'll do an MVP, LVP for that.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Pete, who's your MVP for this episode?
Yeah, for sure, Stewie. He has a lot of great lines, and I think at the end when he's fighting Luke, just the back and forth between him and Chris, I think, is probably the best part of the one of the best parts of the episode. So definitely Stewie.
I'll give it to Peter as Han. I think he has a lot of fun lines throughout this episode. And the bit that got me cracking up is like when they're realize they ran a space slug, he's like, wait a minute, he just keeps shooting it over and over and over again before he goes, oh wait, we should leave.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's like the great Family Guy joke, I feel like, of the episode, like the extended running bit. Who is the LVP of this group?
I think I'm stuck between two characters. I'm just gonna pick one of them, and yeah, they pretty much go hand in hand all the time. But I'm gonna go with R2.
You didn't like his niece's recital?
I don't think he really did much in the episode, which is why he was. I thought R2 and 3PO, which is kind of why I kind of want to pick both of them, but they were very, very good in the first one. Really funny, and they really didn't do anything in this one at all.
Yeah.
And then the reason why for this one is because R2 is with Luke throughout this entire movie, and Cleveland and Chris have zero chemistry as characters in Family Guy, and that's why it just comes off awkward.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't again the
They're
bit.
better together. R2 and 3PO's Cleveland and Quagmire, it works. Cleveland and Chris doesn't work.
You weren't a fan of the recital thing?
I thought that was funny. I did, but I just think that it was awkward comedy because those two characters don't belong on screen together.
Pete, who's your LVP?
I'm gonna go 3PO. I just think not much was done. He was just, I think that also has to do with the movie too, but I
I
just
think it's the same thing, and they belong together, you know?
yeah, yeah, it's just there's no like yeah, he cracked a few jokes and it was funny and I don't think there was anything bad, but he was just like his pile of parts in like a backpack for most of it, not really doing much. So give
I
it him.
yeah, I'm gonna go with Carl as Yoda because I think for me it just didn't work. I get why they picked the character because he's probably the closest to Chris that's not in the main cast, but like they really had to shrink Yoda's role down. They really had no idea what to do with him.
Yeah,
I mean, if
looking
you really
back, he's barely in Family Guy.
Yeah,
Like, especially up to that point. Like, he's really only in I'm gonna guess 4 episodes up to that point.
yeah, that's the problem to me. I feel like when you have Carl like be your Yoda, they really didn't have much to do with him other than Carl. Like he's like, okay, no, I'm not Yoda. Okay, I'm Yoda. Like they had like just spits of sarcasm that didn't work for Yoda.
He was in 6 episodes before that.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I think they just sort of like were stuck and no one they wanted to put in there.
yeah, I mean, if you really think about it, Yoda is not really a huge part of the original trilogy, right? He is in the sense of what he does, and he's Yoda. But like when it comes to the movies, he's in maybe what half the movie, maybe of one of them out of three.
And
So
he's in like one scene in Return of the Jedi.
right. So like in theory, he's a supporting role, maybe not even compared to the other characters. So maybe Family Guy's like, we need someone who we don't need to bring back for another episode if they did the second one. You know what I'm saying? So the third one, excuse me. So maybe that's why, just like a creative, like, hey, this would be good because he's, the comic book guy and we don't have to see him again.
Yeah, it just felt like a missed opportunity. I feel like with Yoda.
Who would you recast character wise as Yoda?
That's what I'm trying to figure out because like Nick said, like when they you put Chris as Luke, it boxes you into a corner of like what you can do. Like the
Yeah. I mean,
Herbert
if you think
Obi-Wan
about it,
sense.
it Luke has 2 mentors in the movies, Obi-Wan and Yoda, right?
Yep.
So who would be Chris's 2 mentors? They chose Herbert and Carl.
Yeah.
Is there anyone better?
Like I'm trying to think here. Like, is this a spot where you could use Principal Skinner,
Not Skinner, Shepard.
Principal Shepard?
Um, I thought the same thing, maybe,
I think
but
it's
I
funnier.
really don't know how their comedy would work together one on one.
I think it's funnier with Principal Shepard.
Maybe I'm not opposed to that really. I don't know for sure. But I don't really have any better answers, honestly.
Yeah, because I think it's a tough call. I think he's probably the only other one you're really going to other than Carl at that point because you burned Herbert already.
Yep. And Herbert was great for that role.
Yes, and Herbert was great in that role. And one more shout I wanted to give out here also. Tom Selleck, the Tom Selleck like cutaway was funny when like he's Luke is like trying to call out to anybody. He calls out the Ben, he calls the lady, he calls out the Tom Selleck. And then we get the shout of Tom Selleck in bed, like going like, did I do something? Nah.
That is funny.
All right. So anything else you guys want to add this week? You think we're good here?
Nothing left on something dark side for me.
All right. So that's it for this one. Pete, you good with this too?
Yeah.
Yep. So next week we're going to do the finale of the Star Wars trilogy. It's a trap, which comes
The
back.
only thing I remember about It's a Trap is the nodding thing.
That's the only thing I remember as well. And Pete,
It's
I'm
the
sure
only thing I remember.
has seen the nodding thing. He was not in the context.
I think I've seen it, yeah, like you said, out of context.
And I remember Carter Schmidt using the lightning on Luke, like the way Emperor did on Luke. That's really about it.
Yeah. Do you guys want some casting spoilers for next week?
No, we got to talk about it next week.
Yeah. Obviously, Carl's back. That's a spoiler.
Carl's back. Carter's back.
Yeah.
The chicken's
My
back.
assumption is Chris is back. Could be wrong.
Jabba's Joe, right?
I believe Jabba is Joe. Yes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's really only new, right?
And Meg's the Sarlacc this time around next week.
Yeah, there's nothing new, right? Like besides the Sarlacc and Jabba the Hutt, there's no new characters in Return of the Jedi, right?
I do have notes here on from characters that are making their first appearances in this. Mon Mothma appears.
Oh yeah, I forgot who plays her.
Yeah,
Is it Lois's mom?
you'll appreciate that when we get there. We also have in this one like there is a there's also Admiral Akbar is in this as well.
Yes, that is a good point.
Those
Both
are
of those.
those are the two big new characters.
Is it Mon Mothma? Wait, I know who it is. That's actually huge.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, that'll be funny. Thank you guys for coming out here as always. Pete, if you want to follow you on social media, I'm not going to do that.
At Consy29 on Twitter, CONSY29. AP Tyler 308 posted this background on Reddit. Make sure you check him out.
Nick, one more time. If you want to follow us on social media, I'm not going to do that.
At Sky Guys Podcast all over social media, at skyguyspod@gmail.com if you'd like to email the pod.
If you can also follow me on social media at mphillips331. It's MPHILIPS 331. This week over on the Just End the Suffering podcast. We are getting ready for Thanksgiving over there. We're going to do some Thanksgiving NFL picks or talk some Jets football and wrapping up the coverage of Alex versus A-Rod, the A-Rod docuseries on HBO. Nick, you've been watching that.
No, I'm gonna watch it when it's over.
Yeah, it's only 3 episodes. The third one airs this Thursday, but it's been pretty good so far. It's a lot better than the Derek Jeter one.
I don't think I saw the Jeter one. I'm gonna watch both of them.
The Jeter one, basically, Jeter is baseball Jesus. That's basically the takeaway you get from that. And he walked on water, did nothing wrong. A-Rod at least like owns up to some of his faults.
It's kind of the impression I got for the both of them anyway. But love them both.
And Derek Jeter is in the A-Rod doc.
That's great.
Yeah. All right. So we'll be back next week. We'll finish up with It's a Trap. Until then, have a happy Thanksgiving and may the force be with you.